and welcome to yet another edition of the Dragon Ball podcast, where we tend to relax a little more about stuff and also inform you about how this is actually progressing in the world of Toriyama and now technically Toyotaro, as we welcome you to our little time and little place up on the lookout. For those of you who are brand new to the podcast, first of all, I would like to say welcome and tell you that Up on the Lookout is the Dragon Ball podcast with a difference. Here, we like to just have a little bit of a thought, discussion topic, not really get too heavy-handed about stuff, discuss things in a much more amiable way, as well as things that really get us excited. So, joining me for this endeavor, as always, is my trusty sidekick, Haberrock.
Hello, I am the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And I'm probably somewhere in between. Yes, so Up on the Lookout, we are back here for another monthly review of Dragon Ball Super, the manga. We are at chapter 71, and for those of you who are subscribed on the different podcasting platforms, I do thank you for your patronage, and also do keep in mind that every other week or every 2 weeks, we have Revelation F, our audio drama based on the What If Frieza Turned Good series, which you can also find on this Up on the Lookout podcast feed. So every single time you listen and subscribe, it does get really appreciated. And if you want to become a patron or a caretaker of the Lookout, you can go to martico.cc/lookout for more information. So with that, let's get started. Chapter 71. I personally thought it was a necessary chapter because, the last 4 chapters, technically it's the first 4 chapters of the Granolah Survivor arc, they've been bangers. They've been good, consistently. This one, it's been a little bit thin in terms of things that happen, and it's mostly time skipped, but it does serve its purpose.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's solid craftsmanship, but nothing too outstanding.
Yes, of course. Yes, definitely. I definitely think that this chapter had a purpose to fill, which was to get us to the final, the final preamble before Granolah, Vegeta, and Goku fight. And I said this in my main review on my channel, that this is no way going to be the final battle. No way. Not even close. This is probably when Moro first fought Goku and Vegeta on Namek when he was an old Ram man. This is testing the waters. And something that we will discuss this in a bit more detail later, but I feel that Granolah is vastly underestimating the competition or overestimating his sudden gains.
Because they trained all the time, which we know that they did, and Granolah was just, was just plotting. It's a little bit silly, but it's Dragon Ball kind of silly, it's not like we didn't had similar things in the past in Z.
Yeah. Long-term fans of Dragon Ball fully understand the ins and outs of this kind of stuff. It's Dragon Ball. That kind of stuff wouldn't necessarily fly in other series, but in Dragon Ball, it sort of gets a pass, relatively. But we'll discuss more about the whole where is Granolah now later. But really, in terms of the structure, it seems to be that not a lot of action happens, but there are then a couple of tidbits which suddenly just come out of nowhere and they change the game. And I think the biggest one for me comes about in the second half. And that's to do, once again, with the Cerulean Dragon Balls. And that is the fact they don't turn to stone. You can use them infinitesimally. No, not infinitesimally, that's a different word. Infinitely, so long as you can find them. And it's been geared up to the fact that, these Dragon Balls probably have the same signature as the Earth Dragon Balls, so let's just steal the Dragon Radar from Bulma, because Chi-Chi hasn't noticed, because she's busy gaining weight. That means she can be paid in Sky Gold, apparently. Yeah, because Chi-Chi's all about money, but hey, at least she had something to do in this chapter. Yeah, she had something to say.
Yeah, also, I still think that they might be I really hope so, that this is a little nod to GT, that there will be consequences like for overusing, those Dragon Balls, that this might be something that will come into terms, because like that would be a little bit too convenient, like it's not like Dragon Ball didn't have any plot convenience before. It had a lot.
I feel that probably is the case, and I want to share a personal theory that Granolah finds out he can just wish on them again when he's not strong enough, so he'll go back and to Torombo, I want to now be the strongest in the universe again, and constantly draining his life force. And not really caring, and this gets to a flashpoint where Monaito's like, stop, Granolah, what are you doing? You're losing your mind! And, eventually it gets to the point where I feel thematically Granolah accidentally kills Monaito or injures him. And it's like a moment of clarity and a flashpoint. What does he do? Does he back off? Or does he just go wholesale, kill Monaito, spare him the pain, and make sure that no one can use the Dragon Balls ever again on the planet Cereal? I mean, this is like the beginnings of Granolah spiraling out of control and losing his identity, because for this entire time, he's on planet Cereal and he's watching Monaito from miles away thanks to his assassin quality eye. And he doesn't seem to want to go and visit him or try and explain why he did this. He's running away from his problems, and Oatmeal, whoever Oatmeal is basically saying, you sure you don't want to talk to your friend, And Granola's like, it's fine. Don't want to.
Basically, not even friend, but more like adoptive grandpa figure, because it is hinted that Monaito probably took care of Granolah.
Yeah, but he's not showing some sort of compassion for someone who took him in.
On one hand, I think that he's just bad with, with stuff like that, because on the other hand, if he didn't care at all, he didn't have an eye on Monaito at all. He has, but he cannot connect.
Or maybe he could connect, but it's probably reducing. So it'll be interesting to see how his interactions with Monaito differ, or if they differ going into future chapters. But it seems like when we first saw them together, they were, they seemed quite happy to be in each other's company. But now it's like Granola's like, I don't want to talk to him. I just want to make sure that he's there and he's not dead. Because, it just feels like he's definitely now losing his sense of self and being consumed by this power. And I think that's something that, we can now discuss. And this goes off the back of Goku and Vegeta training. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they've been up to doing a lot of stuff, and I've seen a lot of comments that have been going, oh, well, why are they rushing the training into have it just being this chapter? But then I just think, well, think about it. Do you really want to have 5 chapters, which takes 5 months of training, side quests, subplots, fluff? Do you really want that for the sake of keeping, it going? Or do you want to have this just one chapter, just say, oh, they did train, and you get the same amount of information? And if you really want to extenuate it a bit more, is that back in the day, weekly chapters would be about 15 to 20 pages long. We are getting nearly 50-page chapters, which is impressive, but we're getting it in one go. So I actually want you all to do a little bit of an experiment or a little exercise. You don't have to do this, but with chapter 72, I want you, when it comes out, to read only the first 12 pages. Then, next week, read the next 12, and the next 12, and then finish it off. And then just see whether your enjoyment or your intrigue for the chapter itself increases or not. And if it does, or if it doesn't, do let me know. Because I want to see whether that actually makes a difference, and whether this is something we can make into an open letter to Viz and say, why don't you go back to the weekly model? This would definitely increase hype. And I know that Totally Not Mark's talked about this. So just a little bit of a thought experiment I had. And I wonder if you all would like to try. I mean, unfortunately, I make the reviews, so I can't really do that, because otherwise, algorithms.
Also, we don't know if like V-Jump doesn't set the rules that it has to be like this. So
but doesn't mean that we can't do that. Just to see whether it actually see whether we can just at least get anecdotal evidence that it at least has some impact on enjoyment. But let's just get back to the content, though. It's quite clear Vegeta and Goku have been up to stuff, and Granolah hasn't. According to what I got from the chapter, he got back after talking with the Heeters and landed and just sat there for months, doing nothing, waiting for something to happen, and just sort of whittling away his remaining lifespan. And that doesn't seem out of character for me. To me, I think Granolah just does not care. He has no other goal in life than to now kill Frieza. And he then gets the realization that, oh wow, there are some Saiyans left. Oh, okay, I can get my revenge on them as well. After 50 years, apparently. So, yeah, it's definitely something that shows that Granolah thinks, oh, I'm the strongest now. I don't need to do anything. Which sets up the theory that Haverock and I had a couple of months ago, that when we found out he was going to wish to be the strongest in the universe, that it would be the strongest of the universe at that point. And Goku and Vegeta subsequently train. So that means the wish he made is a bit out of date. And who's to say that Frieza hasn't been training? Because Frieza's got the bug. He appreciates strength. And also, he doesn't want to get beaten around by Broly again, wherever he'll turn up again. And we haven't actually seen him do anything. The last thing we actually saw him in Super was him just confirming that he wouldn't be doing anything in the Moro arc, just saying, no, I don't want to be involved in that.
I'm not in this one. Let's respect ourselves. I'm marketable, but come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, that if you want to look at it through the the cynical marketing goggles, that is also very true. But it just shows the naivete of Granolah, thinking that, oh, I made the wish, I'm strong now. Oh, I only get 3 years left to live. Oh, that's plenty to kill Frieza. He doesn't he doesn't understand potential, even though his true potential has been shown. And to me also, he hasn't even done any training or just like, oh, I have these powers now. Aside from the fight that he had with the Heeters, that seems to be the only bit of fighting he's done. So he's not really adjusted to this level of power yet entirely. I mean, he's practically, I would say, in a similar position to what Ginyu was, in that, he's just gotten this brand new Goku Ginyu body. He has no clue how to use it.
And what's important is that he wasn't going 100% against the Heeters because he didn't really want to, kill them.
No, he just wanted to make a point.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Heeters, because that's interesting, like, I see even more building up for Gas to be the main, not the main villain. That's, in my opinion, that's still Elec. Elec will be the main villain, but, like, in an interesting twist, we might get a main villain that it's not physically the strongest. And also, have you noticed how non-lethal Heeters are in this chapter? We've seen Zamasu threatening Zuno. They saw 7-3 and the rest of Moro's goons threatening Zuno. But they decided to just go and talk with him and making poor Maki humiliate herself to that creep. Because we cannot call it in a different light. They go and they are like, of course they are tricking them, but they are talking to Chi-Chi, and I'm pretty sure like they even will give her the payment. To me, that's a signal that, hey, those guys are not cold-blood killers. Some of the Heeters might be redeemable. I think that's my headcanon, that Elec is going bye-bye because his attachment to his siblings is more instrumental. The other three care for each other, and that we might get, like, at the end of the series, like, Maki may take out after Elec and go good. Because if you think about it, Heeters are the closest things we get to a more capable Pilaf's gang.
They're successful. They've actually gotten the job, and they've got this lavish ship. They are good merchants and knowledge fountains, and they've actually thought things through, which is very unusual to Dragon Ball villains or anti-villains or anything like that, antagonists. And I think you're right. And now that I've actually seen it, also in his design, Elec definitely reminds me of Hearts from Super Dragon Ball Heroes. And I imagine that this might be a second attempt at doing something similar in that, it's this very, he's probably pretty powerful, but someone who base and deals in knowledge and using everything he has, his guile, his gumption to get ahead. And you feel like Hearts was doing that as well, up until he then absorbed that weird crystal thing and then became that ridiculous, weird godlike thing.
He's back, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, and he's good now, apparently.
Oh, he's a good guy now?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. It just goes to show, I after the first arc ended, like after that Gogeta fight, no, I lost interest in that entirely. And also the audience figures were just like, no. And I think really, in terms of popularity, it's going to be the occasional episode, like the last one, when you see Broly fighting and apparently had good animation. So, okay, fine, all right. But it's not going to be something that people are going to be watching, episode by episode. It's going to be like, oh, cool, that thing happens. All right, fair enough. Oh, we can't buy the cards? Oh, okay. Oh, well.
But, see how Gas is portrayed in that episode. Like, you really feel that this guy wants to prove himself, and you kind of can feel he's not shown as as usual villain. Like, you see that those like Oil, Maki, and Gas care for each other. I feel that Elec, again, like. Yeah, he would be worried to lose somebody like Gas, but he would be worried to lose a tool and not really a sibling. I feel that the main antagonist might be Gas in the end because he's the strongest out of them, and there might be, that whole thing with him becoming the strongest. But Elec is the brain, the mastermind, and he's playing not only the Saiyans and Granolah, but also his own siblings.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely get the feeling that Gas will fall. Maki and Oil would be like, yeah, you got to stop this. One of our brethren just died, and Elec's just, a means to an end.
Oh well, you get some, you win some.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll probably just like steer Oil and Maki to be like, nah, we don't want to be like this anymore. Knowledge has just made you greedy or something like that. So definitely something to consider there. But the Heeters are not straight up bad guys. They are bad people in that they are not exactly something to look up to. But they do benefit people so long as you have the money. As long as you got the cash, they'll help you. And I found it hilarious that when the Japanese version of that page when Maki and Oil meet Chi-Chi, and everyone was going like, don't you kill her. And I'm like, relax, people. They don't kill. We've not seen them kill anyone. Yeah. So calm down.
They have people to kill for them.
Yeah, exactly. They got Granolah off on one example.
I thought they would kidnap her or like, okay, so they just offer to pay her, which is like a much more Heater thing to do, really.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter that the ultimate reason why they paid for Goku and Vegeta was to play them off of Granolah, but, they're like, hey, we're not going to be like, like a ransom or anything like that. Either you fight for us or we'll kill your wife. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, because, that's not going to work. Because they know that how strong they are, they would just kick their ass. So they're just like, no, we got money. Let's just pay. Elec has said, money gets you knowledge, and knowledge is power. So just give them some money. Just give them all the sky gold they could eat.
There's a very interesting theory about, that Mr. Senpai and Geekdom discussed about in one of the early April videos, that 7-3 might also be the main, threat because he's slowly regenerating. I feel that 7-3 will still be important, but like, because they figured out that, hey, you can use those those Dragon Balls from Planet Cereal to wish 7-3 to be the strongest in the universe because he doesn't have a lifespan. But I think what will end up happening is that they will somehow fuse 7-3 and Gas together in one being, into one being. Make Gas a cyborg connected with 7-3 or something.
Turn the heat up to gas mark 7-3. We need transformations. We do need transformations, and I don't count Granola's power up as a transformation. That doesn't count. Yeah, we haven't seen 7-3. And didn't Oil and Maki like bring a big sack with them to Zuno? Because I think they did, and I wonder if that contains 7-3 in it. And also, it has been months, so, 7-3 could have regenerated more. His body might be back to normal, but his innards might still need to take a while to regenerate. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get to Goku and Vegeta, because obviously this is Dragon Ball. So with Goku's training, he is able to master it, and now he seems to have most of the faculties of Ultra Instinct Sign in his base form. Most of them, not all of them. But essentially what this is doing is that, in my mind, it feels like it's essentially doing what Super Saiyan was back in the day, in that they said, to maximize the potential of Super Saiyan, you just train up your base form and multipliers and all that stuff. So what I feel like we're seeing here is Ultra Instinct just with the Super Saiyan model of potential increase. So, Ultra Instinct Sign is now the new base, and the mastered version is Super Saiyan.
Which might explain why we haven't seen, much of Super Saiyan at the end of Z.
Maybe that's what Toyotaro and Toriyama are going for. They're going for that's why we don't see Super Saiyan in the end of Z 3-episoder. We don't see that. And Goku has this power, and Oob has this sort of innate Ultra Instinct ability, or at least something akin to that, from God Ki. This is essentially building up the lore and justification as to why Goku never went Super Saiyan. He's in Ultra Instinct Sign the entire time. At first, we thought it was he's just really miserable because Beerus and Whis have gone. He's got nothing to aim for. But no, now he's just calm and assured of himself. He's also knows that he's going to meet Oob. So he's measured. So that entire theory has changed based on this new information. Because with Goku, it's pretty much straightforward. But with Vegeta, his relationship with Beerus is now pretty much cemented. As in, Beerus now likes Vegeta. It confirms that Beerus is total tsundere.
Do you think it's a retcon, or do you think that whole Mark of Destroyer is just, a placebo for Vegeta? Because not all Gods of Destruction are wearing this clip.
It could vary from universe to universe. It could be different things depending on what the GOD prefers. So it could be that, or it could be just Beerus's thing as it being egotistical.
Champa has it, Licker has it, Ramshi has it, Belmont doesn't have it, or this is one of those things when this, you have to represent it, this is the Mark of Destroyer. While it really, it's a placebo to make Vegeta focus better because he's wearing that and he feels Beerus's gaze on himself all the time. But in reality, it just, a normal ear clip.
Put simply, it's like Space Jam's secret stuff.
It's not the first time Vegeta would... Beerus would do such a thing because it's a very reminiscent of that whole dressing up as Monaka thing. That's a very Beerus thing to do, in my opinion. Yeah. I know that a lot of people don't like the fact of, it's they blew the Vegeta Beerus confrontation about destruction of planet Vegeta, which I think might be one of the sources for why this chapter is so divisive. But I love this dynamic, man. I love the dynamic between Vegeta and Beerus in this chapter.
Yeah, it is just really, really cute. I mean, I found it so endearing, and just that look of satisfaction on Beerus's face is just oh, it's so cute. I'm really pleased to see that actually going somewhere and Beerus showing genuine, pride in Vegeta's accomplishments. And the fact that Vegeta doesn't always get it right. In the fact that, he used Sakai 2 times, but the third time he had to use his regular ki blast, and Beerus was like, oh, no, you don't. But then a lot of other people were saying that, it was him telling Vegeta off for destroying a big waterfall. But either way, it might have been both. Like, Beerus was chastising for Vegeta not using Hakai energy properly and also being irresponsible of where he aimed the damn thing. So I think we can start to wrap this in-depth review up, but it just goes to show that even though there might not have been a lot of action going on, there's still a lot to talk about, in that there are a couple of tidbits that were very interesting and intriguing, and it could lead to bigger stuff later, but it essentially was cutting through all of the fluff, getting to the first round. And I feel like this is the first round of at least, well, Dragon Ball Super likes to do 3, so this might be the first of 3 big battles. I think Goku and Vegeta will win against Granolah. Not necessarily comprehensively, but enough to make Granolah think, I can't win, I need to retreat. Or maybe, he gets wind about Frieza. So he then goes think, well, if I can't beat these people, I'm going to go after Frieza and then escape. And then Vegeta and Goku's like, well, I thought he was supposed to be the strongest or something like that.
Also, he might be, this blasted dragon tricked me.
Oh, yes, of course. So he might have just thought, it was just all a ruse or something like that. And he might just think, that whole reducing my lifespan thing, that might be a lie as well. Concept about what he believes in will then be completely jaded and distorted as well. So, he's going to go a bit doolally because he won't know what to believe.
And if we can learn anything from Moro is that, suddenly gaining a lot of power that you haven't trained for rarely ends well.
Oh, of course. Moro went and descended himself into madness. So the same thing probably will happen with Granolah, but it'll probably, obviously happen a bit slower. Because, his body has been able to go to the same adapting to that level of power. If he then decides to speed it up even more, or if he just doesn't know how to temper it, it could lead to that same outcome. But at least his body can handle the base power. But we'll just need to see how the reaction between him and Goku and Vegeta happens. But this is certainly not the end of it. A decent chapter. It was good. Not really as bombastic as the previous ones and full of information, but it had enough information to get by. And it does give you some thinking points for the next chapter. The first battle, they will meet in the next chapter. Because, months have passed. And I think Granolah will get beat. Granolah will lose.
Also, if we see Goten and Trunks again, I really do hope they look older. If not, my biggest wish is that there was that one comic going on Twitter when Whis just, it shouldn't be like this, and he just boobs them into like teenagers or young adults, because that would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be hilarious, but really convenient. But I wouldn't be mad about it.
I mean, that would be them acknowledging the problem.
Yeah, at least being self-aware. I do see your point there. Fair point. All right. Well, with that is an end to another Up on the Lookout podcast. I do thank you so much for listening, everybody. And I also thank you, Haverok, for being here.
No worries. Always a pleasure.
And if you like the sound of this podcast, do subscribe on your respective podcasting platform of your choice. And we shall look forward to seeing you for the next episode of Revelation F coming out next week, or the next Up on the Lookout episode, when that may be, most likely next month. But anyway, hope you're all doing well out there, and do take care, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!
Bye-bye!